Morning all. And so today's news of the day, again, this is from around training camps around the league. Interestingly enough, Barzal is on the training camp roster for the New York Islanders. He can't officially practice with the team in official capacity without a contract, though. So guys who are without contract, they're kind of in no man's land right now. Joe Pavelski is day-to-day for Dallas. So there's some guys who are considered unfit to participate. That could be any number of things. But Pavelski, it's notable because Sagan isn't going to be in the lineup for Dallas until March. So if you don't have Sagan, you don't have Pavelski, does Faksa become the number one center then in Dallas? Like it's going to be quite the season if Pavelski turns out to be more than a day-to-day thing. And that's the thing. We don't know which one of these injuries are going to end up being more of an issue and which ones aren't. Speaking of which, Brad Marchand, or Marchand, depending on which name he's using this year. Every year he changes it. He does it just to be a jerk. Anyways, Marchand, he's in a non-contact jersey in Boston's training camp. Now, word had it he would be good to go for the start of the season, which is in 9 days. If he's in a non-contact jersey, we'll see. Because that means he's not able to take, he's not able to participate in full practice and all of this kind of stuff. And considering the amount of time off that these players have had, I don't know. If he's not in a contact jersey right now, projecting out that 9 days from now he'll be good to go, we'll see. Be very interesting to see what happens there because Pasternak, we know, isn't going to be back until next month. And so those two, they're kind of a big deal when it comes to Boston's offense. And if they're both out, that really changes the picture in the East. I wanted to mention Trevor Zagras in this video as well. And I'll throw out Dylan Cousins' name as well for Buffalo. The Zagras hype, look for it to get a little bit louder. Likely today, I would think. U.S. is against Finland. And, watch for Zagras to probably garner more and more hype as this goes along. He's been very, very impressive. And I think he's NHL ready. I think that for an offensively starved Anaheim team, and really goal scoring was a huge problem for them last year. Zagras can step in right now. I think the Ducks will take that. It'll be very interesting to see how things go for him with Anaheim this year. But I would think they may give him a shot at one of the top two center spots and just say, hey, let's see if this kid can do it right out of the gate. So, yeah, if you want a dark horse for Calder Trophy, Zagras might be a pretty good pick. And I don't think he's one of the sexy picks. I think Lafreniere's in there. You're going to get votes for Romanov from Montreal fans that have their fingers crossed. And, of course, Kaprizov out of Minnesota. Maybe Zagras is going to be, a guy who comes in with hype, but not as much as the other guys, and who knows. We'll see. Kasperi Kapanen, who was picked up in a trade by Jim Rutherford over the summer, during the fall, picked up during the offseason. Weird offseason that it is and all. He's going to miss the start of the season. He's in Finland awaiting a work visa. I'm kind of surprised at the amount of players, and I didn't put it all on the board, the amount of players who are going through quarantine right now. They're missing the start of training camp. This was part of the reason a couple weeks ago why we thought, hey, maybe we're not going to end up having a season. Maybe they're not going to meet the January 13th deadline. Players didn't seem to be in a rush to come back, and now they're doing it, and they have the quarantine. So because of the quarantines and the rules in place, they miss the start of the season potentially, or they're missing the starting part of starting a training camp. And considering there's no preseason games, there's no exhibition games, training camp becomes really, really important. That's what tells you who is and who's not in the lineup. So by not being there, and I'm not saying that Kapanen necessarily didn't apply for his visa early enough for everything. I know things are really backed up when it comes to that kind of thing with the States. I'm not sure on the Canadian side if you're looking for paperwork if that's delayed, but I know on the American side it is. Just saying it's odd to me that this stuff's coming out now and that there are players who seem to be just coming back a little bit late. Maybe there's some players who didn't think January 13th was going to happen either. But yeah, so there you go. Anthony Duclair. So if you're a Florida fan and you want some excitement for this year, it looks like Duclair is going to get a shot at first line time. And again, I think we'll see some guys being put on lines that are unusual. Yesterday, I reported out Joe Thornton's being given a shot at a top line spot with Toronto out of the gate. And again, this will be to try to create that depth throughout the lineup. And in this case, if he's replacing Dadonov, then you put him with Barkov and Huberdeau, and you go from there. Or Hoffman, right? So if that's the plan, is that he's replacing one of the two, then yeah, throw him on the top line and see how it goes. And so that'll give him a shot at a lot of goals. Huberdeau and Barkov are both excellent players. You couldn't ask for two better line mates. You could ask for two that are as good. I'll say, because I know people are going to say, my two guys in my city I cheer for are better. But Barkov and Huberdeau are excellent. So there you go. John Jason Paterka created a lot of hype for himself as well coming out of the World Junior Championship. And the plan in Buffalo is he is going back to the DEL. He's going back to Germany. But since their season finishes before the NHL season will finish, because the NHL season goes till early May, they do have him on the radar. And the thought process is they may bring him in once the German league season is done, and see where he fits in. So he may very well make his NHL debut this year, and I'm looking forward to it. I'll be interested to see if he can create that kind of offense with other players. If it was, the chemistry with Stützle that made it work, or if he can create that chemistry with other players in Buffalo. And if he does turn out to be the steal that I think he is, it may free up Buffalo to move guys around, and maybe you end up moving out a forward to add a defenseman, or this kind of thing, or at the very least he'd be on an entry-level contract. You might be able to get rid of a contract, save some money, bring in another free agent. If you draft well, it really helps your team immediately. So yeah, all the best to him, and honestly to the Sabres too. Chicago, this is newsworthy only because of who it is. So I mentioned there are a lot of players that are showing up right now that are saying they're unfit to participate. So you go through your physical when you come back and they're like, nope, or something else is going. Again, the NHL is going to be as opaque about this as possible. Now, the rule is supposed to be that if it's a COVID positive test, they're supposed to tell us. So I don't think that's what it is. I know that'll be some of the speculation on this, but it may be that if you, and this is a regulation as well, is that if you test positive that you've had it, then there's other tests they have to run. So it's possible there's some players who may be coming back that they may just have to run an extra battery of tests on. And these guys like Pavelski, like Seabrook, who are showing up, they're saying they're unfit to participate. Maybe that's part of what it is. It may just be that they're being a little more thorough than they normally might be. And so yeah, Seabrook's out, and it's notable as well because Seabrook has missed so much in the way of games over the last couple of seasons, and he was supposed to be 100% coming in. He said he was good to go. He was looking forward to playing, and we'll see. Again, we're 9 days out, so we'll see whether or not Seabrook is on the ice for the Hawks on their opening night against Tampa. And when we do, I'll be here to report on it. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below as always. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe. If you're browsing your way through, you just happened upon this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.